松的草啊，和牛羊在山坡上摩擦哇，围坐在火塘边呀呼吸呀，风吹动荞麦花，讨家乡再出发，披上阿普松的草啊，和牛羊在山坡上摩擦哇，围坐在火塘边呀呼吸呀，风吹动荞麦花，讨家乡再出发。
央视新闻的网友，大家好，我是央视记者王冰冰。
Dear viewers, I am the anchor from CCTV, Wang Bingbing. Welcome to join us in Zhaojue County of Sichuan Province. And there is the so-called cliff village called Atulie'er Village here. The residents used to live at about 1,000 meters above sea level on the cliff, but now they have relocated. And just now with our short clip, you have seen the clouds and the mountains in that village, and you also see how the villagers used to climb that high. But now, as you can see behind me, that's a modernized village, and that's the new settlement of the villagers of the cliff village. And this is one of the settlements, the Muwenjing community. So moving from the mountainous cliff to this new community, what are their lives looking like? And we will have a look. And very soon there will be a celebrity here in the cliff village, Labo. Hello everyone, I am the flying man in the cliff village, Labo. Labo is a star here in this village. He will share the videos about the beautiful sceneries in the cliff village on the social media. In recent years, I've been taking shots of the local customs and the daily lives of our villagers, and then I post them on the website. So in that way, people will have better understanding of the cliff village. So as I said, this is a new community for the villagers. It looks very good because it's green and brand new. And I also see some local elements of architecture belonging to the Yi ethnic minority. This looks exactly like the architecture of Yi ethnicity. Do you like this new house? Yes, I live in such a settlement. When I took the lottery to get the apartment randomly, I didn't know where it was, but I was looking forward. And when I entered into this new neighborhood, it shocked me. I suddenly saw such beautiful houses in the cities. So you must be very happy back then, yes. The first day I lived in this new apartment and I woke up the next morning, I was still surprised to find myself in such a beautiful environment. It didn't even feel like my apartment. It's like in a dream. Yes, the environment here is very clean and tidy, and we don't see any untidy littering on the ground, and in each gate there will be a dustbin. It's commonplace to see such a dustbin everywhere in the city areas, but for the villagers, such a dustbin will be a change of their lifestyle because they used to live on the mountains. They didn't have such condition to pay too much attention to environmental protection, like throwing the litter. Now, since we live in the same settlement, villagers will compare between themselves whose environment is the most tidy and whose children have the most fluent Mandarin. So comparison is like peer pressure. We will compete with each other about keeping a tidy environment. That's really a good sign and a good habit. Now we're going to enter into one household. I brought some fruits here, and I do want to learn from you about greetings to them in the local language. Ushmusa means I wish you good fortune. I brought you some fruits. You just celebrated the New Year in Yi ethnicity. So Happy New Year. May I introduce this family? The family used to be villagers in Cliff Village. He's a big bro. I actually should have called him my grandfather. And also that kid, it has the same name with Labo. But that kid could be said as Labo's uncle, though they differ a lot in ages. And may I tour around your new apartment? Yes, please. That's my bedroom. Can I step inside? Sure. Full of furniture, the wardrobe, the cabinet. You could see that on the door. It's decorated with the Yi ethnic elements. It's well equipped. That's my washroom. The toilet, the washing machine, and also it's very tidy. It's another bedroom. Who is it for? Me, myself. And for that one, that's for the kid and the mother. This cabinet was subsidized by the local government. We got all the furniture and the keys together from the local government, and we moved in the midnight. We were very excited, even though tired out. So the moment you moved in, the local government offered 9 sets of furniture. 4 are like the cabinets or the beds. The government subsidized those sets of furniture, and another 4 are the home appliances and, for example, the television, the table, and also the sofa. We contributed some, and the government subsidized for the remaining. And for that dinner table, it's the same thing. We seldomly use the table. We are not used to eat on such a high table. We prefer the small table next to the sofa. This is the kitchen. We are cooking. What are you cooking? It's a local specialty. It's the buckwheat noodles, and it's good for your gastrointestinal function. It smells good. We want to improve our living standard after the new year. Are you having fun with the kid, your uncle? Now let's sit over talking. It's a very good environment. How big is the area? It's over 100 square meters for a family of 4. The government subsidized us with this apartment based on the number of people in our family. Usually it's 25 square meters per capita. And we get such a big apartment. Yes, I do envy you. Such big windows and balcony. How much did you pay for this apartment? We paid 10,000 RMB yuan in the first place, and the government said that it differs from 3,000 to 10,000 for different families, but it's no more than 10,000 RMB yuan per household. You must be happy living here. I do want to thank the local government and our nation and the leadership of the CPC Central Committee and also President Xi Jinping for giving us such good living conditions. We are really cohesive and united as a nation. I'm grateful. For Cliff Village, to live in such an apartment is like a lifelong dream. I never knew if I could ever realize that dream, but now it's a reality. So I'm very excited from my bottom heart. And I'm accustomed to life here. What's the biggest change and what's your most favorite part in this apartment? I like everything about it. It's spacious. For example, the old house in the old settlement, we don't separate the different rooms. People just live together in just one big room. But now we have the partition between different rooms. It certainly improved our living standard. As to medical resources, we have the boost. We could have access to the hospital, the schools. In the old village, we have some clinics, but the conditions were very poor. And considering the poor transportation, we usually don't commute to the local clinic if it's just small ailments. And there is no volunteering medical services to the doorsteps of the households. After all, it takes like 5 to 8 hours of commuting to the doorsteps of the patients from the clinic. And it doesn't help to save the patients with such a long time of commuting. Yes, indeed. You're still earning money based on planting the trees and the fruits in the orchids on the mountain. Yes, this is actually the self-planted fruit. I can take this away. In recent years, I used to work elsewhere as a migrant worker for the past decade. I've been to almost every corner of the country, but I didn't earn enough money. We work for several months per year, and deducted by the transportation fees, we cannot save a lot of money. But in recent several years, the local government allocated the seedlings for our orchid, and our cliff village is a suitable place for planting the oranges. So we plant about 400 orange trees last year. The fruits were mature, and this is the fourth year. Yes, all the oranges are sold out. We kept some of the fruits here for my children. For the others, they're basically all sold by working together with Ping An Bank, which helped us with the sales. We receive very few number of tourists, and usually we sell our fruits to the tourists. But this year, because of the COVID-19, sales is a real pain. So considering about that pain point, the local government and the village committee discussed and came up with a solution about the after sales. And those are the oranges we specially saved for my family. So let's stop playing with the kid and let's have more tour about the apartment. You see the big balcony, and up on the ceiling they are hanging the preserved meat. And if we look over the balcony, we can see so many people gathering in the balcony. There will be a speech delivered by the first party secretary of the village. And you can have a very close look from this angle. Enjoy your time here. Thank you for your time. We will have the other interviews. You seem to be wearing a carpet. The new apartment is really fabulous, and I could see that he's leading a completely new life because of the apartment. And he informed me that they rely on the revenue from the orchid. What about you? I worked as a guide, and I also do the publicity job. There are a lot of youngsters doing the tourism business in the Cliff Village. For example, they sell eggs, they open the small convenience stores. So how much do you earn per month as a local guide? 4,000 RMB yuan. It's pretty good. Do you do some live show? Yes. It's my job to publicize my hometown, so I've been videotaping a lot. And to do an advertisement, you could pay attention to his Sinoblog account. It's called 悬崖上的拉婆. And also, as we have heard, there are a lot of job opportunities here. Some of the youngsters will work elsewhere as a migrant worker. Also, there will be job opportunities in the locality. For example, in the communities, there will be some embroidery workshop. People will embroider and sell the artifacts, so they don't have to move elsewhere to earn money. Some of the boys came back to our hometown to develop the local tourism. Some elderly people will be trained here, for example, to do the embroidery work or to do the welding work. So for the girls, they do the embroidery. I heard that the e-girls would learn such embroidery from their mothers since very young. Yes. They would embroider the clothes and the scarf since very young. They could earn like 200 or 300 RMB yuan per day doing the embroidery work. I envy them. That's the workshop. Hello there.
还说逛到了这里哈，能不能领我们看看我们这个衣绣工坊是做什么用的？
Could you lead us to have a closer look at this embroidery workshop?
今年9月正式建好的。
In September this year, we were constructed.
从山上搬上
It's
来以后，
developed to help those poor women moving from the mountain to earn money here.
衣绣的一些产品，
So we developed some e-embroidery products.
小钱包，这是咱们衣绣
That's a wallet.
特有的祥云纹，就是非常吉祥。
You could see the pattern. It's a local pattern.
宜家那
It's
个
about
就是羊头纹，羊角纹，
auspicious
这个也
clouds.
是比较传统的一种技艺。
And
这
that's
是
the
贴布绣
sheep horn.
然后大家看这边是咱们设计的一个，跟那边厂家设计一块儿设计，用咱们宜绣的
And
一
we
些
work
元
with the
素
local
做的
factory
一个
to
电脑
add
包
more
这个颜色也比较清
e-ethnic elements into this bag.
又有一些
It's
民族
for
特
the
色又和
computer.
现代的一些设计结合起来。
So you combine the modern design with the local tradition here in the patterns.
考虑的就是说宜绣要做大做强的话，一定要
We do want to develop the e-ethnic embroidery, so
民族的
to make it
把民族的
more powerful and influential, we must combine with fashion and modernity.
活下去。看咱们
And then our tradition could survive longer.
衣服最好看。
To give you another example, that's a very typical pattern of embroidery. They are all handmade.
这个纹路都是
See
针
here?
线绣出来的。
这绣一件得多长时间？
Every stitch of them
要3、4
is handmade.
这是咱们的
It takes like 3 to 4 months for such a costume.
这是以男士的一个衣服。
This is for the males.
特有彝族特别喜欢红色、黑色、黄色。
E-ethnic people prefer red, black, and yellow.
扯了腰单了，右耳结了。
哎，我们看看那边还有一些衣服，我们先给大家看一看这个彝族的
There
服
are
装哈。
other costumes here. We can show our viewers the local costumes. E-ethnic embroidery is also intangible cultural heritage in China, but the different costumes look quite differently.
涵盖了4个方言区的那个方言，也涵盖了4个方言。
There are 4 dialects
咱们有阿都的
here, and there are 4 different costumes. This is for Adu ethnicity, this is for Renault,
就是伊诺的，然后
just
还有
like
喜扎的，还有锁定的。
this
当
one.
然我觉得
And there are 2 other
这是
different
咱们那个
ethnic families,
对对。
我给大家
so they wear different
看
costumes.
看
I do want to change for our viewers.
是个，
什么感觉是
对
吧？
对对对。啊，这个麻烦您帮我解一下。
How will I look in this costume? Could you please help me?
这个民族的，对对对，这个民族的服装特别的漂亮。哎呀，
It's very beautiful.
这个的话是咱们一个传统的、很传统的一个，这种就是改良的了，这种是咱们改良的。你漂亮，穿什么都漂亮。
又多了一位少数民族的姑娘了。
啊，宜家妹了。
哇，这个
特别显身材、修长。
要不帮我拿一下这个画盘？哎呀，这个我个子太矮了哈，裙子拖地呀。
I'm too short. The skirt is too long for me.
就是要脱一下的，然后我们帮你弄一下啊，好吧？
哎呀，这个我觉得彝族的裙子特别漂亮，
它是百褶裙。
对，它是
The skirt is very beautiful.
以后特别适合跳舞，可惜我不会。
We can dance very freely in this costume. You can swirl.
是吗？
You're very tall.
我们的冰冰小姐姐就变成了我们的
冰冰。
彝族小姐姐了。
我们来看看这个，
你这个就是咱们
You look like local.
阿都跟那个
You could see the patterns. They are very traditional patterns.
是吧？啊，
你看咱们这个，
我们看看绣娘们。
And also we combine some fashionable elements. Now let's look around.
那个把线拿出来我看一下，把那个粗线。
Could you take up
拎的线，它是
the
这样的线，
work with us?
然后
Let's see.
拎成一块儿 反拎成一块儿以后，然后线绣线，你看到没有？粗小细的线呢绣。
Let's see the yarn.
这也是咱们羊角。
Some are thick, some are thin.
咱们那个
They're now embroidering
做这个做这个袜子的话，
the
他们绣一双袜子能挣到16块。
sheep,
您这一天能绣多少双？
the sheep claw.
能绣20多双，一个月挣多少钱？
How many can you embroider per day? 20 pairs. And how much do you earn per month? 5 to 6,000. So, do you usually work in your own home? Yes, we don't have to get out to make money.
一个月5、6
I
千
do
呢
envy you.
每天就绣几
5 to 6,000 RMB yuan, and they just embroider dozens of
两个人绣1万6，
哇！
socks, and they earn so much.
我可不可以也学一学？因为其实大家
I do want to learn from you.
对您教教我好不好？衣袖是什么样的？
Please teach me how to do the ethnic embroidery.
从底下穿过来，
That's the sheep horn.
看起来好麻烦啊！那您平常绣这个
It looks complex, so you must be very
多长时
quick.
间能绣完这一双？
How much can you finish one pair? Half an hour.
我半个小时，估计那一个角还没绣完呢。行啊，我
For me, I can't even finish one horn in half an hour. Can I have a try?
试一下。
Go for it.
不用，没事。怎么了？谢谢拉伯。我试一下啊，这个看看这个学的怎么样。哎呀，我觉得我从小也是挺有这个天赋。你笑什么？哎，是
I
这样
used to
吗
be gifted in such work when I was young.
翻了，有点反了。这样，哎，穿过去，哎呦，就照我这绣法，一天能绣完一双就不错了。
It may be even hard for me to finish one pair in one day.
这样吗？是这样是吧？
Is this right?
女孩子有天赋，
哦。
Yes, you're really gifted.
没试过呢。
Have you tried Labo? Never.
学学。
过2天我也过。
You should go for it as well. I must be trained. And you can live on this.
是吧？
有可能男孩子也有天赋呢。
这对吗？这是绣对吗？
Am I right?
对了，老师看不下去了。
It's
穿
correct.
袜子之后我就买下来啊，我不。那个
I will buy this pair of
让我
socks.
给这个糟蹋。
I seem to have destroyed this beautiful sock
难的这个针法。
with my stitches.
不绣了。
It's really
太
difficult.
费劲了。
I
太
quit.
难了，这样的话，其实这个遗绣我们看它是有一些这个用不同的针法，然后包括是这种彝族的特殊的图案哈，然后所以说
There are special stitches and local patterns, so they have a strong sense of ethnicity. You're wearing very beautiful costume. I did this myself. You're fabulous.
还有他背着的包包，
And also the bag, it's self-made.
真的是有手巧。哎呀，您接着绣，我不打扰您了啊。
So I will not further prolong,
哎，我刚才的
and please get back to your work.
哦，谢谢，给我就行。
要不要先给你拍个照？
啊，拍照啊。哎
Do you want to
行
take a photo in this costume?
我和
Sure.
哎，我和这个大家一起拍张照。
I'd love to.
大家可不可以？
Can I take a group photo with all of them? You can sit in the middle.
来，咱们一起让拉伯给我们拍张照。来，我们看这边啊，拍照。
Could you please look at the camera and let's have a group photo
有
together?
个在这吃的呢。
Here is a baby.
啊，你说拿我手机拍是吧？好。来，大家看镜头。
看镜头啊！
来，1、2。
1, 2, 3.
大家看镜头，3、2、1，茄子。
好，谢谢，大家接着 着忙啊，开心一点秀。哎，我刚才还看了，哎，贾主席，我刚才看这边的围巾特别漂亮，我可不可以买一条啊？这个是卖的
The
吗？
scarves are very beautiful. Are they for sales?
这
Yes.
多少钱一条？
100块钱，
How much? 100.
直接扫码买吧。
直接扫码。咱们这边是
You can pay by scanning the QR code.
哎呀，其实现在呢，这里的这个销路现在还没有完全打开，就主要是在当地买，在网上的
The
话
sales channels are not fully developed yet. Do you have an online store? They are still being developed. We are working now with Beijing Apparel Academy to develop some fashionable costumes for sales. There will be some ethnic suits for special occasions to be sold.
咱们那个整个工坊来说的话，这边还有一些空的，你看，这是未完善的工坊，咱们下来的话还要把
This workshop is not finished yet.
绣梁弄好的这个产品在这里寄卖，然后还有咱们
There will be some
下来的一些
self-made products
咱们也在这
to be hand over there for
要
sales.
绣，还要会剪裁。宜家来说
Those women must be able to not just embroider.
是没有缝纫这个说法的，从小就自己绣嫁衣的，所以
After all,
现在我们要让他们
when they were very young, they would do the
自己想一种
stitching work.
要规范一下。
For example, make
对，所以咱们工坊的
their own clothes for the wedding. This is the operating room.
教一下咱们那个你太瘦了，你
This is for sewing.
腰带的，你刚才看的那个荷包啊
Usually we
实际上
have a
边上
waist
会有
belt.
细的腰带，边上就掉一个
For
荷包。
example, the wallet you just saw, the wallet is usually
目前的话
bond-
上了几十台那个
bonded
电脑
at your waist.
的那个缝纫机，然后我们
You could
接
see
下来就是培训他们
the sewing machine.
他们绣，
We will
把他们
train
规范过来。
the woman to do the sewing work. Now they're doing the stitches.
手工什么的都规范。
Then they will also be trained to do the sewing and the prototype making, and then they will be able to earn more money.
秀坊啊，也可以大家
It's wonderful. We're looking forward to see that the workshop will have more sales. Just now I bought this scarf because he told me yesterday that he did want to buy such a scarf. I guess he must want to buy one to send it as a gift to his wife. So this is actually for you. You could send it to your wife now. After villagers move to this new county, they are making great efforts to create a better life. So this beautiful life is also contributed by the first party secretary of the Cliff Village. He will deliver a speech in the plaza we just saw. The Cliff Village moved out of poverty step by step. There must be a lot of stories about poverty alleviation, and you will hear about the stories. My colleague Jiang Linda is already with the first party secretary in the plaza. So please stay with us.
我们一起去看我们的书记的演讲。
Now let's listen to the speech by our party secretary. We will be there as well. Please pay attention. 四川凉山昭觉 County's relocation project was started. There are 4 settlements with about 4,057 apartments, with a total occupied area of 581 square meters. 84 households will move to the new settlement from the Atulie'er Village. Before, this Atulie'er Village used to be a cliff village. Since now on, I will have an apartment in the county. I'm very excited.
这是在城市中心嘛，很希望在
It's in the downtown area. I hope that my kid will have better education.
特别满意。
I'm very satisfied.
会搬到这里来住。
It's even beyond my imagination.
“我要为你唱支幸福的歌，一路看见美丽的村庄，没有去过的地方叫做远方，山高路远，天空蔚蓝。春天来了，春天走了。” 一路看见花开花落，偶尔看见天边挂着美丽的彩虹，就让那道彩虹停留在心中。我在这里，时间在哪里？记得妈妈对我说，你一定要勇敢。 我在这里，时间在哪里？记得妈妈说，勇敢的人不会迷失自己。哒哒哒哒哒哒哒哒哒哒。 Da 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 da。不管一路受了多少苦，爱在心里指引你的方向。 远行的人，如果今生注定了孤独，就让那道彩虹停留在心中。我在这里，时间在哪里？记得妈妈对我说，你一定要勇敢。我在这里，时间在哪里？ 记得妈妈说，勇敢的人不会 迷失自己。我在这里，时间在哪里？我像雄鹰飞过最高最远的山。我在这里，时间在哪里？有一天我要告诉他们说，我回到这里。哒哒哒哒哒哒哒哒哒哒哒。Da da 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 da。 我回到这里。看射手。
我在这里，世界在那里。一首好听的歌曲。
He just sang that I am here and the world is out there. It's a very beautiful song. That song is for all of you and our viewers online. Good morning,
你们现
everyone.
在呢所看到的是我们央视新闻
You're
所带
now
来的一场
watching
特别直播。
the CCTV
我和我的
program,
村庄。那在这之前呢，
Me
其实我们已经
and
看到
my
了
village.
我的同事
Previously,
冰冰探访了我们的新
My
居，
colleague
看到了我
Wang
们的秀
Bingbing
娘们现在的工
interviewed
作的场
the
景。
local
那此时
villagers
此刻呢，
and
我们
the
来到的
embroidery
是
woman.
凉山彝
Now,
族自
we
治
are
州昭
here
觉县的穆恩里社区。
in
这也是
the
我们整
community
个
of
昭觉县
Muenbi
最
of
大的地
Zhaojue
区扶贫
County.
安置点。今天有很
It's
多朋
also
友
the
都来到这儿，
biggest
大家会
relocation
和我们一起
settlement
来共同完
in
成这
Zhaojue
样的一个
County.
特殊的节目
Today,
和
there
欢
will be a
庆的
very
时刻。
special
好，那
program
首先呢，
to
我要给大家介
celebrate
绍
the
一下我们这四
change.
位音乐人
First
啊。
of all, please
首先给
allow
大
me
家
to
介绍的是我
present
们
you
的
the four
彝族原
musicians. The
创
first
的音乐
one
人
is
奥杰
the
阿
local
格。
original
大家好，
composer
请
Zhaojue
我
阿
介绍
格 He's a
主
local here.
还有我们彝族的原创歌手罗军，
Another singer, 罗
彝族
军
新生代歌手说比阿
The
达，
new generation singer, 说比阿
彝族
达
新生代的歌手
and also
江
the new
石部。
generation singer, 江石部.
好，在这儿呢，我想先跟我们的奥杰阿格去聊一聊。听说你是当地人，啊，看到家
I
乡的变化，
heard
这几
you
年
are
最大的
local
感
here.
触是什么？
So, what's your biggest feeling seeing the changes in the hometown? I'm touched. It's also a meaningful opportunity for me to come back for this activity. My hometown is also this county. Many of the audience over there must be my relatives. I see so many beautiful schools, apartments. It's transformative change in my village. But something remains unchanged. That is the enthusiasm, the hospitality, the kindness, and their love for this piece of land from my fellow people. I could see those from their happy smiles on their faces. I'm really moved. I want to give my best wishes to my hometown.
请在台下
Thank
就
you.
坐。那
Please take
接
your
下来这个
seats.
时间啊，就将会进入到我们今天这个特别直播的第二段当中了。大家也
And
不用
the
着急，
second
特别是我
session
们
of
的央
this
视网友
program,
们。
don't worry
冰冰
about
呢，
it.
刚才做了这个直播，正在回到我们这个太阳广场的路途当中。
Madam Wang
过一会儿
Bingbing
她也
is
会
on
和
her
我
way
一起
to
来完
this
成下面的一些
plaza.
环节。
Later on, we will work together for the second session. And also more information for you. We are now in Liangshan Yi Autonomous Prefecture, Zhaojue County. Zhaojue is really the like the birthplace of Yi ethnic people, but this place is also troubled by poverty. On November the 17th, Zhaojue County, together with other 6 counties in Daliangshan Mountain, all of which have gotten rid of the poverty-stricken counties, and for this moment, Sichuan province has successfully achieved the goal of eliminating poverty. So today, we will talk about me and my village. We will start from bottom up to talk about the earnest efforts of poverty alleviation. thanks to the good policies and the joint efforts of different levels of governments. And also, there will be a special contributor that's called the First Party Secretary. Because of those people, the policies are executed concretely. So, today, we have invited Xuan Yatsun, the Cliff Village, and the representative party secretary of the Cliff Village to share with us about the stories. First of all, let's watch a video about him. He's my idol. Every time I see him, I feel close to him. If I haven't seen him for some time, I miss him. He's quick-tempered. No matter what you ask from him, he will help you. He's very meticulous and dedicated. He seemed cool, but he's warm-hearted. When he came to our village, the ladders we walked on changed. We used to walk on the wooden ones. It's unsafe. The biggest change is about sanitation. Previously, we didn't sweep our floor for 1 week. Since I'm playing the South media, he's very supportive. He's even give me some suggestions. For example, opening more homestay. We want to do some business. Then we can earn money for the milk powder for my kid. He couldn't leave Zhaojue County, and we cannot separate from him. I do want to say thank you, and I hope that he will have a brighter future. My best wishes to him. Welcome back. Very soon, we will give a big hand to Paja Youge, the first party secretary of the Cliff Village. Youge. Hi there. Hi, Jiang. Good to see you again. Last time I saw you, it was an exciting moment. We took down the memories about movement of the village. Now, since we're ending the poverty alleviation campaign, you must be very busy. Speaking of Youge, he used to work in the office, but in the past 5 years, he completed a lot of first time in his lifetime. For example, the first climbing of the Cliff Village, the first meeting of the villagers, the first industry development, and today there will be another first time for you. I heard that you will deliver the first remark. Are you nervous? Sure, I am. Now let's give a big hand to his speech. Good morning. My name is Pacha Youge. I am the first party secretary of Atulie'er Village. Previously, because entering and living in the village will have to enter through a height difference of about 800 meters. So my village was called the Cliff Village. 5 years ago, when I got the assignment to serve as the first party secretary in Atulie'er Village. Since I am a local in Zhaojue County, I've heard about the Cliff Village. I heard that there is such a village that requires climbing the ladders to commute, so I was fully prepared psychologically. I was prepared to be challenged. But even that, when I climbed through the ladders made of vines, it's more harder than what I imagined. With vines, it's better, but without the vine ladders, climbing over the cliff gives you even nothing to support yourself. You have to use your hands and your feet. In such a tough environment, I successfully mounted on the summit, and the moment I stepped into the village on top of the cliff, the village looked completely different from my imagination, because I thought the Cliff Village must be a typical poor and underdeveloped village on the mountainous area. For example, we will smell the feces of animals, but I saw the tidy environment, no litter on the grounds in the surroundings. Particularly next to each house, there will be a garden to plant vegetables. It's really seen in ethnic settlements. And every villager I encountered put on happy smiles on their face when they greeted me. I could feel their sense of happiness. So they are very high-spirited. With the village party secretary RPGT, we talked, saying that the local villagers are born with such a vine spirit. Guided by the spirit, the cliff village is impoverished. We were heart-wrenched and embarrassed by the situation. As the first party secretary, what can I bring? What can I do to reshape the local situation? First of all, I need to gain the faith and recognition from villagers. There is a saying in e-ethnicity saying that the skies are connected and the pieces of lands are also bound together. So first of all, I must get familiar with the villagers, no matter which household you're coming from. Sometimes we call each other uncles. Once we feel like relatives, we are familiar. I firstly lived in the house of a relative. The host is Asamuha. He is a smiley person, so people nicknamed him Wahaha. For the tradition and history, he is very familiar. Every night, we will talk over the fireplace or on the beds, talking about the history here. In the beginning, I asked him the local customs, the local history, including different family branches. How did they move to the cliff village? And time after time, I asked him, Wahaha, what shall be planted or shall be raised in cliff village? To you, how can we change the poverty situation? And as to your family, what do you think you can do? Raising pig or chicken? Do you have any idea? What about your brothers? And Wahaha will respond very quickly. He may take one day thinking, and on the next day, he would talk back to me, giving me feedbacks. In addition to Wahaha, a lot more young boys followed me almost every day. For example, Labo, Subuzi, Asa, Muguo, and so on. Those young boys share one similarity. When I first got familiar with them, they were very timid. They didn't want to talk. When I asked questions, like, how shall we develop the village? Most of the time, they just nod or shake their heads or just give me a smile, that's all. But gradually, when the kids got more close to me, they have questions to me. Will it be better for my family to do this or that? The questions rise in number. And the most frequent question, or the common aspiration for all of the villagers, was to build a road. But because of the special landform and location, it's unrealistic to build a road. So, how to change the security problem of the vine ladder, how to solve the issue of inaccessibility to schools? With the prefecture and county government subsidies, we got 1 million And we establish our own committee to build a road. All the villagers dedicate themselves to building the road. We worked for 2 weeks or even more. And then gradually, no person wanted to work in the field. So I talked with the village secretary, because in August 2016, that was the hottest season in the cliff village. Because of the hot weather, the construction work is too heavy. Because of the lack of subsidy, the workers refused to work on the site anymore. So what next? We convened a meeting of the cadres. And then we do the persuasion work to every household. Sometimes we work as a group of 3 to 4 to do the persuasion job. We inform the villagers that this road is not built for others, but for us villagers ourselves, so that the kids schooled at the foot of the mountain could have better access. Gradually, they accepted this idea and they returned to the construction site. But then, the progress was made very slowly. So, we give further play to our relative relationship. The village secretary's mother has a lot of relatives in the neighborhood village called Wafu village. So many young people were invited from Wafu village to be the workers for our project. And more people joined us. Very soon, we built a steepy ladder. I remember clearly that with Afumunio, the then party secretary, we were on a business trip. Anio and me received a phone call. It's a complaint. Mushi Jiri called us. And another technician from Yunnan province, serving as the technical guide for our project, also complained. Those two people argued. Each one complained to every one of us. The main point is when we were constructing a very steepy section, for the security purpose, the technician believed that building a very steepy road will be the result, and for Muzhi secretary believed that if we build a very steepy road along with the cliff angle, it will be dangerous. But as Muzhi said, if we take a turn to make it less steeper, there will be no stable support below the ladder, so it's also dangerous. The two people both want to contribute to the road construction. They have very kind initial intention, so then we too took the two people together and they shook hands and they work in harmony. By early November 2016, we came to the last section of the road, connecting with the village directly. It's also a very steepy section. The vine ladder was about 100 meters in height difference before, but when we were developing that section of the road, one person impressed me. Everyone called her Shizhang Ama. She's already 81 years old. Every day, she will walk to the entrance of the village to talk with the workers on site, asking them the progress, and every day she would invite the workers to be guests in her family. She would kill the self-raised chicken to cook for them. She lived with a left-behind granddaughter. Only those two. So people refused to go indoor because of the poor condition. Then I heard that Muzhi secretary took 2 young boys to the household. When the last section of the steel ladder was built, that auntie came back. She would climb up and down the steel ladder every day. Whether she came down or climbed up, every step was a danger. But she felt reassured walking on the steel ladder. An 81-year-old woman who never paid visit to the foot of the mountain could choose to walk up and down the steel ladder. For the granddaughter taking education below, she will be reassured about the education and the security of the granddaughter. For those villagers who buy groceries for her, when they commute and climbed up and down the cliff, she will not worry for them. So her words and actions touch me. In addition to that elderly woman, with the operation of the iron and steel ladder, there are a lot of changes to the cliff village. For example, 4G network has full coverage. The broadband is connected. Water and electricity supply is more stable. More young boys in the village are doing live shows. For example, 拉国、极客木果、武士苏布者、姆桑拉吉 and so on. Those young boys are doing the live broadcasting, and they are making progress in every way. In addition to those changes, one other thing that impressed me is that we have the first kindergarten on the mountain. Once the kindergarten was built, for the preschool kids aged 3 to 6 could take their education there. They could learn Mandarin, they could learn Pinyin or the Arabic numbers. So those group of kids would have the unprecedented education in the history of our village, because their fathers learned nothing at that age. They never learned Mandarin at 3 to 6 years old. Their fathers or mothers could never compare with this new generation because of that preschool. These kids can communicate with the tourists from outside. I once paid visit to the teachers and the students in the kindergarten once, and I met a person called 莫测史那, a kid closing the eyes and shaking the head. He's sleepy. At noontime, those young kids want to take a rest. They're sleepy. So I thought if those kids could take a nap in the noontime, just like the kids educated in the urban area, it would be perfect. So coincidentally, I met Liangshan Working Group. I said hello to them and I took them to the kindergarten. The happy smiles of the kids impressed those leaders as well. Then I referred the idea of taking a noon nap to those leaders, and they offered their full support. So not very long later, with their support, we relocated the beds to the top of the mountain. We installed the new beds and equipped the beds with the beddings. Now, in the kindergarten, in the afternoon, the kids don't even want to get back home after classes because they prefer the beds in the school. It's very comfortable to sleep there. Some kids are dragged forcefully by their parents back home.
其实，为什么讲这些孩子呢？我们始终在认为说，其实教育才是
I shared with you this story because education is the fundamental way out for poverty alleviation. In the past 5 years, I've been climbing the ladder for numerous times, and I slept in the homes of the villagers. I slept even in the cottage for raising pigs, or in the yard of their house, where they piled up the fireworks. So I was a witness and a practitioner. I'm convinced that poverty alleviation is not simply sending some materials or building houses. To me, we must think about how to mobilize the initiative of the villagers. Then the idea will change from being lifted out of poverty to wanting to make a difference. In the past 5 years, in different areas, the Cliff Village received support from different circles of lives, and that's why we see transformative changes. The villagers have more ideas. But one thing remains unchanged in the past 5 years. That's what I saw the first time I stepped into the village. That's the happy smiles and the spirit of fighting against any tough situation. You are using your own hands to change your destiny. So I'm convinced that Zhaojue County and the Cliff Village will have a more beautiful future. Thank you. I have to shake hands with you. Part-won achievements. In the end, you became kind of excited in your speech because it takes you 5 years to do something you're proud of your lifetime. And we have a gift for you. In the rehearsal, I kept it a secret. Now let's look at the screen. We couldn't get sleep at night, but we didn't call him for fear of interfering with his work. His son is 4 years old, born in 2016. When his wife gave birth, he was not at home. He was working in the Cliff Village. When his brother married, he came back. One of our relatives joked with him, saying that he is tanned, working in the grassroots, saying that you look older than your father. When he was young, he was a good boy. When he firstly learned to talk, he would ask me to teach him how to cook. I raised pig, chicken. He helped me feeding them. When he was 3 to 4 years old, he could do such housework. I hope he could work harder and don't worry about us. I hope everything is good for him. Don't worry about me and your mother. You must look at the big picture. For the villagers of the Cliff Village, hard work doesn't matter. Once you could help them alleviate poverty, it's worth it. I know life is hard for you. And your birthday is about to come. Happy birthday. I hope you could make more contribution. We love you. Today, we have invited your parents on site. We try not to shed you in tears. How about you hug your parents? And also his son is here. The baby is here. Let's give a big round of applause to him who have been contributing to poverty alleviation in the front line. I want to say that a lot of such party secretaries are now stationed in the first line. They have already passed the baton for poverty alleviation, but for the next part of the competition is about village rejuvenation. We want to give our thanks to all of those party secretaries and all those people who are trying to bring us better lives. Thank you, the party secretaries, all the cadres working in the front line, and also thank your families. I want to bow to all of them. Thank you. Please come back to the stage. Next, there are two other guests. They are my colleagues from CCTV, Sichuan branch. The reports from about the cliff village were made because of their field visits. They climbed the cliff to take down the moments. Such a documentary is really powerful. The photography by the reporters help us to memorize the moments of poverty alleviation. Now let's invite my colleagues Bai Lu, Fan Jianfeng, old friends here. My question is to Youge. In addition to those two, do you remember the other reporters' names who paid visit to Cliff Village? I'm very familiar with them. In addition to those two, I remember Yi Renke, Professor Wang, Professor Zhang Yunshan, Zhang Li, Yang Nie, and also Mr. Zhu. Why not me? And also you, of course. In 2005, Bai Lu was there in the Cliff Village. She was a witness of the changes. What do you want to share with all of us? 5 years are like a blink of eyes. I saw you and your parents, and I was very excited. I'm very familiar with your parents already. I'm touched. Youge is like a younger brother to me. How is your Neil right now? It's troublesome, of course. For your information, he's very strong in sports. He has good strength, but to climb the cliffs, he has to come up and down for several times per day. So even for such a young gentleman, his knees were damaged. I asked him to buy some protective equipment. This year, when we were reporting the relocation, I sensed that he is already wearing the protective device on his knees. They are painful, particularly when we were climbing down the mountain. In those times of relocation, I had to wear the protection because they're very painful. So poverty alleviation is not just a test of the physical strength and stamina of the caterers, but also their capabilities. In the past 5 years, I was mostly impressed by the change of the local people, the young people, and the party secretaries and caterers alike. It's tough for them. They kept learning. They learned to raise sheep. For every such learning, they are not very confident about the result. I asked Yoga, "Are you afraid of failure?" And he usually replied, "There is no turning back. We couldn't be afraid. Poverty alleviation must be done quickly, and the aspiration of the local villagers to get rid of poverty leave us no time to wait." So they never gave up. That's why we see the changes made by them. So happily, I see the change of those people. Because of those people, we have more promises for this place. And Jianfeng, could you share with us about your impression? When I was climbing the vine ladder, when I came to the top, from one angle, I wanted to take a photo. When I finished, a hand has been gripping my right ankle very tightly. He's protecting me. 村民们当时就是那种对于外界对于他们的关心，然后大家给他们的帮助，就让 The villagers were conscious about the caring and the support from others. 这种做法真实，就是其实能 They're candid people, and we can feel. 包括到现在。 From the beginning till now, reporters, the party secretary, and the villagers share one similar goal. When I was talking with Yoga previously, he said that when he saw the clean eyes from the kids and the villagers, and even from the reporters from elsewhere, trying to protect their candidness. We need to make more efforts to make their lives better. Yes. To Jianfeng and Madame Bai and all the other reporters, I admire them. Why? They are afraid of height. When we took them to climb the ladder, it's very difficult. But when they sense that they really need to take down the moments, they would run, just like on the flat ground, to take photos. So they forget about themselves for this job. Thank you. Thank you for sharing with us about the stories. As a media practitioner in such a great era, to report the poverty alleviation campaign is really our responsibility. In 2010, President Xi Jinping paid a visit to Sichuan. He said that on TV, I saw reports about Atulie'er Village, particularly about the transportation. I was shocked, and now with the iron ladder, I was relieved. I believe that with our reporting, we could mobilize more people to join us, and there will be more witnesses of the change of this village. Let's also give a big hand to ourselves and to those warriors who fighting in the front line of poverty alleviation. There is one detail. There has been a boy taking a cell phone. He must be doing live show. Could you introduce him? That's 垃圾。
某色垃圾是吧？
对。
某色垃圾。
垃圾现在是你们村里的网红了吧？哦呦，谢谢。
He's a star here in your village, right? Yes. Thank you.
把手套戴上，跟我们说一下，你现在正在做直播是吧？
对，我在做直播。
你现在
Are you doing
在
live
这个平
broadcasting?
台上有多少粉丝了？
Yes.
有30多万。
How many followers do you have? 300,000.
多了。
You have more followers than me.
现在主要做哪方面的直播？
And what type of shows are you taking? I sell products, the agriculture products from the Cliff Village, and the honey, pepper, walnuts. Today, you're videotaping this program online. Okay? I give you one opportunity. If you could raise one question to the party secretary, what will be it? Many people are doing tourism live broadcasting. We are also selling products. But one problem is about the speed of the delivery. It's very slow. Could you help us to solve that issue? In recent years, we did a lot. There are different methods of selling agricultural products produced in the Cliff Village. But one thing is that because of our location at the conjunction of 3 counties, the delivery and logistics are very costly. I was troubled by this question as well. So, to our viewers, I call upon all of you, if there are some logistics company watching us, please set up a station here in our village. It takes about 1 hour to walk through the mountainous road, and this road connects different other villages, not just the Cliff Village. A suggestion is that maybe there should be a shuttle bus, like vehicle, to carry the delivered products. Maybe there are 2 shifts to send out those packages outside. I want to invite another guest, the party secretary, Aniu.
因为我据说提问的不止他一个啊，刚才和我们冰冰在一起做直播，哎呦，你戴的这个围巾是不是冰冰送给你的
？You are wearing the scarf sent by Wang Bingbing.
可羡慕你喽啊！你如果让
Many viewers are envying you. If you could raise one question to Aniu, what would it be?
先给你，来。
因为现在我的主业是在搞那个旅游向导。
My job is tourism guide and publicity. I want to ask, will there be any improvement of the transportation? Tourism development is developed orderly, including safe drinking water and road construction. It is estimated that in early 2021, the construction will be finished. Now, Cliff Village enjoys special scenery and several thousand mu of grassland or highland. In the future, our village will have better developed tourism. More young people will develop on a better platform in the tourism industry. Thank you. And also, the gondola will be constructed. I have climbed for a dozen of times to the Cliff Village. If you are strong physically, for example, you pay visit to the fitness club 2 times per week, you could experience challenging your strength by climbing to Cliff Village. It's a memorable experience. Please take your seat, Labo. I also want to share with you something. In Liangshan Mountain, there are a lot of local specialties. For example, if possible, you could shoot around the balconies of this new settlement. Last week, the local villagers celebrated the Yi ethnic New Year, and you will see that they must made a lot of preserved meat hanged in their balconies. They're organic. Once we have good logistic support, we certainly can guarantee the quality of the meat. More such agricultural products will be appealing. So, is there any other villager who wants to raise a question? You look very handsome. My name is Musa Ache from Zhaojue Village. I have a question. Will Cliff Village develop some tourist spots in Cliff Village? And can the villagers from other villages work there in the tourist spot? Cliff Village belongs to not just the local villagers, it also belongs to the entire county and the whole nation. Tourism in Cliff Village will cover the surroundings. We open our doors to all the youngsters. Once you have your expertise, we will provide you an opportunity. We welcome you to join us. Thank you. Thank you, Anil. Please take your seat.